Morning. Thursday, June 12th, 2025. I'm Larissa. Here we are. Time to drink some skulls. Yeah, I'm already showered and dressed. Oh, oh, I can push myself. I can push myself when I need to, when I have something I gotta do, it's just, uncomfortable, right? Right? Oh. Some days are worse than others. But, I have good motivation. My motivation this morning is I gotta do something for Omar, so I gotta be available. I gotta be available for him. So here I am, right? Here I am, showered and dressed. Ugh. Yeah. Anyway, so yesterday I was just crazy blood cannon. Oh, it was awful. It was awful. Just all these little bubbles coming up on my wall all of a sudden. Where the hell are these bubbles coming from? I don't even know. Little bubbles. Like nail heads, but they're not like in a line. They're all kind of in like screwy places. Let me touch one. Hold on. Oh no. No, they are. They're nail heads. Oh no. I don't usually sit in this direction, right? I'm not usually looking at the wall like that. Anyway. Anyway. A little hole in the ceiling up here. It's not a hole. It's patched, but you can see the patch. Oh, when we first moved in. And we were trying to be friendly with the neighbors here and everything. And the asshole across the street is an electrician, and I wanted some electrical work looked at over here in the house. And people who bought the house from said, "Oh, he's so helpful. He's so helpful." So I'm like, "All right, call him." He sends over his jackass son, and his jackass son pokes a hole in my fucking ceiling. Yeah, excuse me. Yeah. And then he didn't even fucking fix it. I had to fix it. Ugh. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. So all this crap what's going on in these ICE protests, and they're showing at people. Like, this is what happens when you pay fast food workers more than you pay teachers. You have all of these stupid people with nothing else to do with their time than fucking play into Donald Trump's bullshit, right? And, I don't feel bad for the Democrats. I'm not a Democrat or a Republican, right? I don't feel bad for the Democrats, right? Like, they're complaining about this shit. Oh, Donald Trump this. Oh, Donald Trump that. A couple years ago, it was you assholes telling me I wasn't allowed to leave my house to peaceably assemble. And now you're out there on your fucking soapboxes peaceably assembling. Really? Where were you? Where were you a few years ago? Where were you a few years ago? Right? Oh, you were the ones telling everybody they had to stay in their house. Go put your masks back on and shut the fuck up. I can't take any of you seriously. You know, it's all bullshit. It's all bullshit. This country's a fucking joke. It really is. Yesterday. Oh, yesterday. Yesterday I gave in. I gave in to a fast food craving. I don't eat fast food very often. Very, very rare. Very, very rare. And Omar had to do some dietary stuff yesterday, and I didn't want to eat in front of him. I told him, I said, I'm having a period craving. I'm going out. My period craving is Taco Bell bean burrito. I don't know. Yuck, right? It is. It's gross. It's so gross. It's so gross. But the uterus wants what the uterus wants, right? No, I did not stuff the burrito up into my uterus, but So I get there, and again, I'm at the little drive-through box, and I'm like, what? Can't understand a thing this person is saying. I was like, I don't even know what it is. What am I gonna find when I get to the up to the window, right? I'm like, I don't know what you just said to me. I said, I want 3 bean burritos. I only ate 2 of them. I threw the other one away. Anyway, I get to the window. It's this fat kid, and he's all goofy, and I'm just like, not having it. I just look at him and say, "Are you going to college?" He's like, "No." I'm like, "Oh." He goes, "Wait, maybe I will. Oh, I'm gonna go." I'm like, "No, you're not." That's what I said. "No, you're not. You're not going." Like you could probably barely read. And he's like, "Oh." I said, "It's disgusting how much you get paid." Yeah, yeah, yeah. When I was teaching for the San Jose Museum in San Jose Unified Schools, because Ronald Reagan took specials out of public schools, right? And it was too expensive to add them back in a lot of places. And so they contract with outsiders so they don't have to actually pay people. So I got paid even less than the classroom teachers get paid. Classroom teachers don't get paid much more, right? I was making, what was it, like $16,000 a year, or 18,000, 16 or $18,000 a year. Yeah, teaching in San Jose Unified Schools, 3 schools a day. Yeah, it came out to, when you took into consideration my driving time and the prep time for writing my lesson plans and prepping all the materials, I was making like just a little over $2 an hour. When I worked for CYO camp, teaching art, working 24/7, babysitting kids from the inner city, because it was a charity program. The camp that I was working at, it was almost entirely. They told me when I took the job, they said, now the kids that you're going to be working with, we have some legacy people who come back, meaning people who's their, their kids went, that kind of thing. They said, like, maybe an eighth of our clients come from that. They said, but the majority of the kids you're going to be working with are here on scholarship, meaning that they're not paying to be here, right? Church is paying, it's charity for them to be here, and most of them were from urban centers. No, they weren't all black, but this was in Port Sanilac, Michigan. Um, and some of the hires were charity hires too. So yeah, when I was working there, because you're working 24/7, even on your day off, because the reality is, if you're on campus, if you were on the campgrounds, if you weren't, if you were off that day, if there was an emergency, you had to work, right? And if a kid sees you, you have to respond to them, right? So I was making, it was less than $2 an hour, way less than $2 an hour, way less than $2. I got like, what was it? What was I getting paid? I got paid like $500 every 2 weeks. Yeah, $500 every 2 weeks, and every 2 weeks you got a new set of girls, and it was like we had like 700 girls each time. Yeah, yeah, and when I talk about charity hires, that's when they hired that bitch from Detroit. What was her name? Kalina, who who threatened to kill me because I called her out. She's a big fat bitch who refused to do any of the chores, right? She refused to do any of the chores, and she was telling everybody that she was pregnant. When she wasn't pregnant, she was just a fat bitch. And everybody was afraid to say anything to her because she was kind of intimidating and she was a bully. And so we were on the same detail crew, and I called her out finally one day. Everybody was working, doing housekeeping in one of the buildings, and there's this one gal. She was the lifeguard and swimming instructor, and she was afraid of this woman, and she like was her, it's like wiping her ass, if Kalina said jump, this bitch would jump. And I was sweeping, and this gal was wiping down the kitchen counter. It was in the break house, right, for staff break house. And Kalina wouldn't do anything. She wouldn't do anything. She was sitting there, and she starts screaming at this girl to bring her a chocolate pudding. She's stuffing her face. She's sitting there stuffing her face. Say, oh, you missed a spot over there. You missed a spot over there. And I finally, I sat my broom down. I said, Kalina, because I had asked. I went to the nurse, the gal that was the nurse. I said, Kalina's telling everybody that she's pregnant. Is she pregnant? And the nurse was like, no. And I'm like, all right, because I'd had it. I'd fucking had it. This bitch she was hired to do archery, and we were bunkmates during training, and I had to teach her how to do archery. She thought it was basket weaving, and I'm like, well, do you know how to weave baskets? She's like, no. I'm like, oh my God. So you got hired, why? So I had to teach her how to string the bow, and how to set up the targets, and how to shoot the bow. It was ridiculous. I told her, I said, you're not pregnant. You're just fat and lazy. I said, get up. Well, after that, then she told me, then she was threatening me all the time, her and Jaleesa, and 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 she's like, my brothers are gonna come up here and they're gonna push your truck into the lake, like all this shit. She was saying all this shit. She goes, maybe you'll be in it, maybe you won't be. She stole my debit card, and I went to get gas to go home and couldn't. When I finally left, when I finally quit, I couldn't because she had drained my account. Yeah, CYO camp. Yeah. What are you looking for?
Just the underwear.
He's getting ready to get in the shower over here. Yeah. So anyway, people who do those jobs, right? CYO camp. The poor gal that worked with the special needs kids. I mean, all the kids that were at that camp were special needs in some way, but the ones who had physical, emotional disability, whatever it was, felt really bad for her because she had a little girl that pooped on her, and she wasn't like a baby. The little girl was like, because we didn't have babies, right? These were kids second grade and up. So this was like a second grader that pooped on her. Yeah. 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 They made me write out lesson plans. CYO camp did. I had to submit lesson plans to them with a supply list, and they're like telling me that, oh yeah, we're gonna have these supplies for you. And I got there, they didn't buy me. I didn't have shit. I didn't have crayons. I didn't have nothing. My parents brought me paper and crayons, so at least we could draw pictures. They had a whole bunch of broken shit in a boarded up cabin. Yeah. Mm. Yeah. Yeah. And all the kids, all they wanted to do was weave lanyards, and I'd never done that. So Kalina probably knew how to do that because she braided hair. They should have hired Kalina to be the art specialist, and I should have been the archery specialist. Ugh. Oh, but that's the way schools are, right? And people don't get paid shit. But fast food workers, they're making $20 an hour here, right? And then you wonder why you got a bunch of young adults and teens out rioting in the street. Signs say, "Oh, proud children of undocumented immigrants." It's like, yeah, and you're dumb as fuck because fast food workers, which are probably you, if you have a job at all, are it's all just dumb. It's all dumb. It's all dumb. It's all dumb. And Democrats want me to be all upset about, the federal government saying, "Oh, you're not allowed to peaceably assemble." They're not peaceful. And just a couple years ago, the Democrats were telling me that I wasn't allowed to go out unless I had a muzzle on. So, all you bitches down there in LA complaining and all these other cities, put your masks back on and shut up. You're all the same. You're no different. You're no different. You're no different. You're no different. And all these hearings about all the lies about the vaccines and stuff, and all you same ass people that were out there pushing those vaccines, all these young men in particular who now have this myocarditis, right? I mean, there's other people that have it too, but it for whatever reason it affects young men at a higher rate. You think that wasn't genetically designed that way with by this genetic virus, all of this shit? Yeah, it's a thinning of the population, right? It's a thinning of the population. Facilitated by big pharma, facilitated by big pharma that has been informed for the past since World War II, since the end of World War II, by the Nazi research that the U.S. government got in exchange for helping to rebuild Europe. Yeah, yeah. You trust all these assholes. Mm-mm. No, no. I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what's gonna happen, but yes, it is against the Constitution for the President of the United States to deploy troops the way that he did. Yes, it is. It is in direct violation of the Constitution. And so was what the Democrats did with COVID lockdown, denying people their right to peaceably assemble, their right to freedom of their religion, practice their faith, freedom of speech. Hmm. So, no, six and one, half a dozen the other. Same, same. Same, same. Gross. Absolutely gross. Anyway,